Let's bring in Fox News contributor Joe Concha. Joe, you're the media guy. When Trump said this was happening, the media attacked him mercilessly.
They did, saying that he was just throwing out conspiracy theories, Todd, Carly, and as a result, we should not take anything he's saying seriously. Let's be clear first, as Lucas just said, this report has not been confirmed by any major news outlets, including the New York Post and Fox News. But for the sake of conversation, it wouldn't be surprising if this did happen. And the reporters here, Matt Taibbi, Michael Schellenberger, they are as solid as they come. The CIA director at the time was John Brennan. He has shown himself to be completely and totally partisan and completely anti-Trump. He currently serves as an MSNBC analyst, and his sole job is to bash Trump at every turn. So when you listen to John Brennan on TV now, and you see this reporting and the reporters that are behind it, again, it's not hard to believe that Barack Obama and therefore his CIA would spy on Donald Trump in an attempt to stop him from becoming president, and after he became president, to make his job as difficult as possible, guys.
Don't take Concha's words for it. Here's what John Brennan himself said on cable news back in 2018.
Donald Trump has badly sullied the reputation of the office of the presidency. He is, I think, the most divisive president we've ever had in the Oval Office. He is feeding and fueling hatred and animosity and misunderstandings among Americans.
I and so many other former national security officials are speaking out because of the abnormal and aberrant behavior of Mr. Trump.
This is a very large and painful national kidney stone. The relief we feel afterward is going to be just exhilarating.
Before the 2016 election and during the lead up to the 2020 election, as you saw right there, John Brennan, one of Obama's Intel Department heads, targeted a presidential campaign run by Donald J. Trump. 2 campaigns, I might add. How is that not textbook election interference, Joe?
It completely is. And it's amazing that it took independent journalists like Taibbi and Schellenberger to dig into this, because the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, they would never go near this. And look, think about, Todd, all of the former national security, national intelligence officials who have gone from doing their jobs when they're supposed to be apolitical to going on TV to talk about Donald Trump and how horrible he is for democracy. We just saw Clapper. We also saw, James Clapper, I should mention. He was just on screen with John Brennan. John Brennan, of course, MSNBC, James Clapper, CNN, Andy McCabe, number 2, under Clapper. I'm sorry, who was he under as far as, oh, that's right, James Comey. He also has written 2 books, had a Showtime series to go against Donald Trump. I could go on and on in terms of all the national intelligence officials who are now doing jobs like I do in terms of analyzing things on television, and they're supposed to be apolitical. After they leave office, after they leave their jobs, they should be doing other things besides going on television and sounding like Keith Olbermann or Rachel Maddow, but that's exactly what we've seen. So that should tell you something as far as our intelligence agencies, not the people on the ground doing the real work, but the people at the top. They've all become vastly political, and the American people seem to know that at this point.
And it's good to see the media industrial complex holding all the individuals you mentioned to account for their complete falsity and, undemocratic acts. I just want to add one more thing on this. There is this alleged 10-inch binder that Schellenberger referenced that has all the info gathered in the surveillance, but its whereabouts are unknown. I think it's going to have the same fate as the Supreme Court leaker, whoever placed the cocaine in the White House. But I digress. We will see. Meantime, Joe Biden delivering a White House address to attack Trump, but didn't want to take any questions. Watch.
Before we begin, I'm going to make this statement, let it stand in its own. I'm not going to take any questions, but I'll be taking questions tomorrow and the next day. But I don't want anything to get in the way of the statement. I promise I'll come back and answer questions later. Thank you.
Sir, when Trump said that, sir, what did Putin hear?
What's plan B if the speaker doesn't act?
Sir, the hostages.
Joe, will Joe answer any more questions between now and November after, quite frankly, what was a train wreck last week?
Todd, did you see his schedule yesterday? There was literally nothing on it outside of lunch with Kamala Harris. So he had nowhere to go. There was no pressing issue where he had to leave and not take questions. This president, I'll say it again, is an absolute coward because he should be telling his advisors, no, I want to answer questions. I want to show that I have the mental acuity to do this job. And instead, he just stutters off and wanders off after making a statement when he had nowhere to go. I mean, this is as surprising as the sun rising in the east and birds flying south for the winter. This is a president who's like a remote control car, completely controlled and driven by others in terms of when he cannot speak to reporters and therefore the American people. He had 3 solo press conferences in 2023. Donald Trump had 35 in his final year in office. So to answer your question, will he take any questions between now and November? We'll see him in East Palestine, Ohio, where he promised to go. Remember that 2 weeks ago? I'm going to East Palestine. That never happened, did it, right? It's the same thing. Never take anything this president says seriously. Always judge him by his actions, Todd.
His handlers had him primed from the moment he stepped to that podium. No questions was the first thing he said, so he couldn't mess that up. Joe Concha, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.